All right, old school NBA fans, self-researched NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. Want to give a special thanks to JB was here. Thank you very much for the super thanks. I appreciate it. I know you're a regular subscriber. Man, I appreciate all your support that you've given this channel. Thank you very much. In this video here is actually a pretty simple one. It's about the oldest teams in the NBA to ever win a championship. I think a couple people had asked me about that before, like, hey, have you thought about doing a video? Blah, blah, blah. So I decided to do it. Took a little bit of research to do, but it wasn't bad, and I found it very interesting. So I looked up every team from the merger, and I just took the 5 starters because I think that's the most important, but I also think it also reflects the full team basically anyway. When you hear the teams, you're not going to be surprised who they are. But what I find very funny is who the teams are and who some of the teams are, who they beat in the finals. I just find those two things very funny. And one thing that is pretty interesting is the fact that there's been a lot of talk, narratives out there about how the Bulls only beat teams once they got old. And after you hear these numbers, it kind of is almost comical when you hear that. Like, for example, the 91 Lakers, they were old. Okay. James Worthy was 29 years old. Byron Scott was 29 years old. AC Green was like 27 or 28 years old. Magic Johnson was 31 years old. Vlade Divac was 23 years old. Sam Perkins was 29 years old. Does that sound like an old team to you, or does that sound like a team that's in their primes? That's what it sounds like to me. But you know how these guys are. The Pistons, if you just look at Vinnie Johnson, James Edwards, Bill Laimbeer in 1991, yeah, those guys are getting up there a little bit. They're 33 to 35, whatever. But the core players of Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, Joe Dumars, John Sally, Mark Aguirre, I think Mark Aguirre was like 31, 32. Isaiah was like 30. Rodman and Dumars, they're anywhere from like 28, 29 years old. These guys are in their primes. This was not an old team. I believe that particular year, Isaiah did have an injury that may have slowed him down some. And I think that once they introduced flagrant fouls, I think that kind of hurt Detroit because they didn't have the fear they used to have. But come on, look at the trajectory the Bulls were on. They were all these young, hungry players playing great basketball. Pistons weren't going to stop them. There's no way. I mean, it just wasn't going to happen. The Bulls were on the upward trajectory. Pistons were on the way down. I did a video on this a few weeks back. I mean, same old thing. But to the subject at hand, so I did the top 5 because, believe it or not, it actually took a lot of research and math to come up with these numbers. But I threw in number 6 just because I find it pretty interesting. There was some teams on here that were pretty young, but for the most part, since the merger, most teams' average age of their starting 5 was between 27 to 29 years old. Right in that range. Practically 80% of them. There was a few that were really young, like the 1980 Lakers. Despite Kareem being 32, they had, Norm Nixon and Magic Johnson, and I don't think Cooper was one of those. But yeah, anyway, their average age was only like 25. The 77 Portland Trailblazers only 23. I think they were the youngest team on their starting 5 to win a championship. Now, on this particular team, I didn't necessarily I went by top 5 in minutes played. The number 6 oldest team since the merger to win a championship, at least the starting 5, if you want to go deep into the bench, to me that doesn't really tell you much. It's who are the guys that were playing all the minutes. Number 6 was the 2007 San Antonio Spurs. They were the 6th oldest team. Tony Parker was 25 years and 28 days on the day they won the championship. So that's why I didn't do it at the beginning of the season or start of the playoffs. I figured, what age were they the day they won the championship? That way you have an exact date, age, and days, exactly how old these people are. So then it's easier to come to a consensus and an average. So Tony Parker in 2007 was 25 years and 28 days old. Tim Duncan was 31 years and 50 days old. Bruce Bowen was his 36th birthday, actually, believe it or not. Manu Ginobili was 29 years, 321 days old, so he was just about a month and a half from his 30th birthday. And Michael Finley was 34 years, 110 days old. All told, the five of them combined was 156.394 years old, which comes to an average age of the five of 31.279 years old. So you see who they beat, right? So here's a team that was definitely getting old. Finley, Bowen, these guys are in the middle. These are middle-aged players. Well, you see who they swept in the finals. But anyway, whatever, we'll leave that one alone. The number 5 team, also San Antonio, but earlier, the 1999 Spurs. They had Avery Johnson was 34 years, 92 days old. David Robinson was 33 years, 323 days. Sean Elliott, 31 years, 143 days. Mario Elie, 35 years, 211 days. Tim Duncan is what really brought that team down. But without Duncan, you're not winning. 23 years and 36 days. All told, 158.205 years old between the five of them, with an average of 31.641 years old each player. So these guys are, an average age of 31 something, winning championships. That's excellent. The 4th oldest team since the merger to win a championship, starting 5, not the whole roster. And I believe that this team would benefit even more from the whole roster, but we're just doing the starting 5. Number 4 is the 1996 Chicago Bulls. They had Michael Jordan was 33 years, 118 days old. Scottie Pippen was 30 years, 263 days old. Ron Harper, 32 years, 166 days old. Dennis Rodman, 35 years, 33 days. So I guess here he's not old, right? Back in 1991, Rodman's over the hill and finished, even though he's winning Defensive Player of the Year and all that. But when he's on the Bulls, he's prime. He makes it a super team. His stuff is so silly to me. It makes me laugh every time. And Luke Longley was 27 years, 147 days old. So the 5 combined for 158.991 years old. The average age of the 5 players is 31.798 years old. So there you go. I mean, that's the 96 team. The 3rd oldest team, as far as the starting 5 goes, is actually the 2011 Dallas Mavericks. I know a lot of people say that Dallas was the 2nd oldest, and that's true from an entire roster standpoint. But still, 2nd, 3rd, whatever. So 2011 Dallas, the 3rd oldest, starting 5, Dirk Nowitzki, on the day they won the championship, 32 years, 358 days old. So he's only 1 week from his 33rd birthday. Jason Kidd was 38 years and 71 days old. Sean Marion, 33 years and 36 days old. Tyson Chandler, 28 years, 112 days old. And then you got Deshaun Stevenson was 30 years and 70 days old. All told, these guys combined for 162.772 years old. So the average player, starter of the 5, is 32.646. Now that is an old team, man. 32.646. That's the average of your 5 starters. Yeah, that is what you call an older team. And guess who they beat in the finals? You got it.
Rich. Brian Williams over to set the pick to unleash Scottie Pippen. And Pippen was hacked.
Not so much because of the Chicago Bulls defense, not to take anything away from it. It's just Miami was shooting very poorly in the first 3 games of the series, but they got off to a good start in Game 4, and that makes a huge difference.
Good play. Jordan knocked it away. Leonard was looking on the wing for Brown. And once again, a superb defensive sequence by Chicago. Scottie Pippen looks to be hobbling as he comes out, replaced by Tony Kukoc.
Scottie Pippen getting his left ankle worked on to tighten up that tape.
For more on Scottie Pippen, let's go to Ahmad.
All right, Marv, Scottie twisted his ankle, and what they're doing right now is trainer Chip Schaefer is retaping the ankle, and he'll try to go with it then, and then he'll take a closer look at it at halftime.
Quite the poor performance overall by the Heat in this Game 5. They can.
The Chicago Bulls defeat the Miami Heat 100-87. They win the series in 5. They advance to the NBA Finals.
Eastern Conference champion. Is it sort of anticlimactic winning it?
Well, it's good to be Eastern Conference champions, but, to come up short doesn't really mean nothing. We want to get all the way to the ring and, make it 5, go on from there.
So the number 2 oldest team since the merger, starting 5, is the 1997 Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan, 34 years, 116 days. Scottie Pippen, 31 years, 261 days. Ron Harper, 33 years, 164 days. Dennis Rodman, 36 years, 31 days. And Luke Longley, 28 years, 145 days old. So the 5 of them combined for 163.964 years old. So the average age of these 5 is 32.793. We go to number 1.
Shot fake at the three-point line. That's not his best offensive weapon. So McKee stays down. We'll live with Michael Jordan shoot three-pointers. As great as a player he is, that's not his strong point. So McKee, disciplined defensively, stays down. That's just good defense. Cuts him off, does not allow him to get to the paint, forces him into a tough fadeaway jump shot. That's a shot that'll win you a ball game in Game 7. That's Michael Jordan. Underneath, out of bounds for the Bulls. They are trying to just simply get the ball in the hands of Michael Jordan. Now they want him to play one-on-one. Everybody out of the way. And look at the footwork. We understand in Game 7, if we want to win, we cannot allow Michael Jordan to take over the game. We're not going to let him play one-on-one. We're looking to double team right away. 3 guys defending Jordan, but you can never underestimate his incredible footwork. Splits the triple team with his footwork and the ability, after splitting the triple team, to use his weak hand, the left hand, away from the size and length of Rick Smits to finish at the cup.
Now there is a slight change because of the minutes played thing. And also this player did start a lot. Number 1, the 1998 Chicago Bulls. They're the oldest team since the merger to win a championship. Starting 5 and the whole roster, I believe. But the starting 5 was Michael Jordan was 35 years, 117 days old. Scottie Pippen, 32 years, 262 days old. Ron Harper, 34 years, 165 days. Dennis Rodman, 37 years and 32 days. And Tony Kukoc, 29 years, 267 days. He had more minutes played in the playoffs, but he's only beating out Luke Longley by about 122 days. He's only 122 days older than Luke Longley anyway, so it's not really that big a deal. Or actually, I guess it's 1 year and 112 days, but either way, I mean, it's not going to make any difference. All told, these 5 combined for 169.309 years old. The average starter's age on the 1998 Bulls, or at least the top 5 in minutes played, I know Rodman, Kukoc, Longley, they all 3 kind of traded off in who started, there was like some injuries, whatever, is 33.862 years old. So almost 34 years old is the average age of those 5 players. That is definitely getting up there. That's why I scoff and laugh when people mention stuff like the Pistons and the Lakers getting old. Like, the Bulls were 34-year-old average here, winning the championship, completing a three-peat. What are you guys talking about? What a stupid narrative. So had the Bulls lost in 98, you could easily just turn around and say, oh, what do you expect? The Bulls would have been the oldest team to ever win a championship. And you just let them off the hook like that? It's ridiculous. I mean, just pure coming up with anything you can to try to chip away at somebody's legacy. That's what you coming up with? Oh, they got old? A team, mind you, the 91 Pistons, they just won the championship the 2 years prior. Then they get to the Eastern Conference Finals again, going for the three-peat. They get beat, and, oh, it's because they're old. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before. Nobody brought this stuff up until about 10 years ago, when all these clowns on TV trying to make a name for themselves, trying to get some clicks and all this. And, you know, obviously you got probably about 30% of the people love somebody like Nick Wright or Shannon Sharp, and the other 70% are like, this dude is a clown. But either way, you're talking about it, you're engaging about it, you know, and sometimes I feel like I shouldn't even mention them. But the problem isn't even with, well, it is with those guys because they're the one that started. But they put it into the minds of so many mindless sheep robots out here, and they just follow what they say. It's like, dude, you know, they don't even believe what they're saying. You do know that, right? They're just talking to talk, trying to chip away at somebody who is almost got an impeccable resume. I mean, almost flawless, pretty close. You know, it's just like, use your brain, man. You guys can't be this easy to be influenced and tricked, but you are. You know, and I know a lot of it has to do with the younger generation. If they haven't seen it, it didn't exist. So there's no way anything could be good, certainly not great. Oh, no. If I didn't see it, it was not great. You know, that's the mind of these people. I think it'll evolve and change as they get a little older, but I guarantee a lot of these people are still going to hold to the same belief. You know, I mean, it's just, wow, what can you say? So, anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you wouldn't mind sharing the video, passing it along, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I've been giving daily content. And that's it. Until next time.